This is for the portrait series. Here I have a photo of Bob Marley, and if this were your assignment and you were doing this photo of him, you could do 3 different styles, and I would suggest you try more than 3 because some of them are very quick and easy, but they may not turn out the way you want. Obviously, the more intense one, you'll spend more time on that. You'll want to turn that one in, but you can't do 3 easy ones. You need to do at least 1 intense one, 1 difficult one with full value, making it nice and detailed. Here's the photo, and here is another version. This is very realistic, and if you look down here, you can get a hint for what medium he used. It may be difficult to tell up here, but believe it or not, this looks like charcoal, doesn't it? And you just finished using that. So they've turned it on its end for little curly cues and on its side for the big places. Let it fade off, kind of a vignette, but tried to keep the details spot on. Here's another one that's realistic in pencil. You can see they've got the full value here, left wide of the paper for a vignette, taken care for the strokes of the pencil that they've used, a little bit of scumbling, and then some hatching here and here, but they've gotten full value, so this would be one of the more difficult ones, the more thorough ones, and I want you to do at least one of these. Here's another one. This also is more thorough and difficult. It's got full value, it's got all the texture changes, lots of scumbling in the hair, but they've turned this one into a caricature, which is totally fine. You could always do that. But it still has the full value, and it still took some time to do. I don't want you to turn in 3 drawings that took you 5 minutes. This definitely would take a lot longer. Now this one is an ink drawing, but it still has full value. It was still a more difficult one. It could be a medium size actually for effort, but you can see the different strokes they used. Be careful using these kind of strokes because they can get very messy very quickly. Luckily, they only really did it in one spot, so you don't really notice it, but everywhere it's just kind of like, it looks kind of like a scribble. But you can see they use dots, so this one would have taken a little bit longer. When you do teeth, you don't have to outline every tooth. But that's a fun ink one. This one is very detailed, but this is a scribble drawing. So on this whole drawing, they scribbled. And I would suggest you try this. Scribble drawings are really fun. I have a few examples in the assignment that you can see. But basically, you just kind of start scribbling, and you scribble smaller and smaller places and larger places. And where it gets darker, you go back and scribble a little bit more, a little bit smaller, a little bit more, a little bit different angle. But you keep your scribbles focused on the things that need more value. So obviously, like right here, you can see one line went through there and one line went through there, but they did not focus a lot of scribbling. But as you get farther along, there's more scribbling there and there's more scribbling here. But these are really fun. To do this one, I would suggest you probably very lightly put your pencil drawing on, and perhaps just like you did with your portraits, maybe you figure out your proportions on one sheet of paper and then use that as a template for your other drawings so that you can keep your same proportions for these different methods if you'd like. Now this one is, it's like a threshold picture. Everything is either white or black. So you choose those shadows, you choose those outlines, you try to figure out what is going to be white and what is going to be black. Obviously, if it's a mid-gray, you've got to decide if it's going to be white or black, so you can play with that. But this was just black and white, but this same principle is used in this one. Only instead of black and white, if you look closely, it is actually a collage. So they have collaged together different values that are the value that they need. They just cut it the right shape to put in. So, and it could be that they created those values themselves. It could be that they chose some and printed them in black and white. This could all be digital. So lots of different ways you can do that, but putting the shapes in the right places makes all the difference in the world. And here's the same principle here, only here we've got distinct value changes. We have white here and here, And then we've got the next lighter color here and here, then a little bit darker there, a little bit darker there, and the black. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 values. This one, again, is the same principle, only they've filled the black with these different words. So it's a very visual form of the words, and I believe that's his songs and things he stood for, and so it has meaning in that way. Same principle again here, only this is with design. So they've used geometric design to put in those shadow areas. This is a more cubist, a more geometric one. So on this one, you can see the different lines that have been inscribed, and then they fill in different areas according to the value it needs to be in. So describing all of the features through straight lines and then filling in the value that would be in that area to describe what you need it to be. This would be a little bit more difficult. There are simpler versions of this, so you could do a simpler version or a more complex version, but very fun one to do if you haven't done this. Now, here's some student examples. Now, this was when I was having students do theirs with self-portraits, so you can see the different versions this person chose. These were all 6 by 6, so a little bit more geometric, the anime and the full value. The full value, a cubist again, or a planar, which basically is describing each of the planes of the face. And this is a blind contour drawing. So basically one line, you don't look at the paper, and you try to draw yourself. And here we've got the 2 values, again in charcoal, pencil, same person, only 3 different views. So that would also work. And on this one, we've got a full value. This is a single line contour over on the right, and in the middle is a scribble drawing. And the first time you do a scribble drawing, it's not easy. So you may want to try it out. Planar, full value, and then this is just a little bit more simple cartoon. Now you need to make sure that as you cut these or present them, that you keep them nice and neat and clean. Same person, only 3 different views. A little bit more cartoony here, real, and then a very macro close-up shot. Very fun. Single line contour, and then an ink drawing, and the full value. So those are the different ones that some of the students have chosen. I'm sure you'll do great with this. You've got some information in there and some images to choose from. Feel free to try those out. You can try to draw the same thing that you see in the folder so that you can try each of them out and see which one you want to do for your character or person.